Hello friends, and welcome to the channel, where we delve into the mind of a villain. In this entry, we'll be taking a look at Lord Shen, the evil white peacock from Kung Fu Panda 2. Arguably the trilogy's best villain, Lord Shen was a megalomaniac, a vindictive ruler obsessed with power without sparing a thought to the lives he destroys. Just like the fireworks he chooses to weaponize, Lord Shen has an elegant external appearance that shrouds a propensity for destruction. As we'll see, this endless search for power is ultimately a coping mechanism to fill the void created from his tragic past. Much of Shen's character was shaped by the rejection from his parents. It is a sad situation when a son believes that his parents hate him. Shen's propensity for evil started in his childhood, with his fascination with fireworks. While others appreciated them for their aesthetic value, Shen was more interested in their destructive capabilities. This led Shen's parents to consult a soothsayer, who revealed that if he carried on with his path, he would eventually be defeated by a warrior of black and white. In an attempt to secure his fate, Shen makes the horrendous decision to massacre the entire village of pandas. He shares this news with his parents, thinking it would make them proud, but they banish him instead, horrified at the monster that is now their son. But while Shen's parents have every right to be disappointed with their son, banishing him from their kingdom was a terrible mistake. While they certainly loved him, it was the ultimate act of abandonment that caused Shen's rejection complex and his resulting destructive tendencies. What Shen did with the pandas was atrocious, but ultimately, misguided as he was, he still loved his parents as he believed that it would make them proud. As their wayward child, his parents still had the responsibility to guide him. Perhaps they did everything they could before resorting to banishment as a last resort. But leaving Shen to himself for his resentment to fester was a recipe for creating a monster. Shen's anger against his family is what drives him. He is also motivated by pride, looking to defy the prophecy and prove everyone wrong. When he returns home, he immediately throws out his father's throne despite his childhood memories of it, spitting on his father's promise that he would one day sit on it. He replaces it with his cannon, symbolizing his desire to rule on his own terms. Shen's obsession with power stems from the unhealed wound of abandonment. But as with all power-hungry tyrants, their appetites are insatiable. As the soothsayer comments, the cup he has chosen to fill has no bottom. If Shen had succeeded in conquering all of China, he would have proceeded to expand his conquest to the rest of the world. But even that would not heal his wounds. Deep down, Shen is still a villain with humanity, as he just wants acceptance and affection, as do we all. He lives with the burden of an unresolved past, believing his parents hated him. While Shen may be wicked, we do see a moment of compassion with him, when he decides to set the soothsayer free instead of killing her. Throughout the film, we've seen him kill for less, yet he spares her, although she repeatedly aggravates him. It's worth noting that Shen says she's of no use to me and releases her, only after she tells him about his parents, that they never stopped loving him. It's suggestible that in some small measure Shen believes her, which was why he spared her, but the act of setting her free was the final rejection of his parents' love. Acknowledging his parents' love would discredit his lifetime of atrocities, and he is too proud to admit that, perhaps a reflection of the pride that is typically associated with peacocks. The concept of inner peace is a recurring theme in the film. The soothsayer advises Shen that the most important time is now, a nod to Oogway's message that the present moment is a gift. But he is unable to be at peace as he is caught between the past and the future. As a result, he misses out on the joys of the present moment, forever seeking the elusive concept of happiness, which he tells the soothsayer that it must be taken by force. Shen also struggles with the uncertainties of the future, trying to change his declared fate. Perhaps his parents were partly at fault too, for trying to pry into the future, which became the catalyst for their son's downfall. And in a case of irony, banishing their son only further sealed the fate they were trying to prevent. Similarly, Shen's attempts to defy his prophesied future ultimately sets up Po to be the dragon warrior. It's been said that misery loves company, and Shen embodies this to an extent. His psychological warfare with Po was to project onto him the same sense of parental abandonment, knowing from personal experience how it would scar him for life. But unlike Shen, Po manages to resolve his past, bringing him to a state of inner peace. This leads Shen to a state of bewilderment. In one of his most humanized moments, he asks Po, "How?" It's as if he was seeking enlightenment for himself as to how Po managed to overcome the same wounds he carried for most of his life. The key difference was that Po managed to rest in the love of his family, allowing him to move on, while Shen could not accept that his parents cared for him. Or maybe he did to some extent, but perhaps he had lived so long in his rage that he could not pull himself out of the blackness of his soul. He could see no other choice but to continue with his destructive path. Shen had opportunity after opportunity to let go of his hatred and selfish ambition, but tragically caused his own demise through his stubbornness. At the end, he chooses death, perhaps realizing that he can never find peace in this world and that no amount of conquest will fill the crater in his soul. So what do you think of Lord Shen, folks? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.